Hi, it's Chantel here from Fiberific. In this week's video, we're going to continue on in our Crochet Basics series. If you're just getting started, there's a video for how to do a slip knot in your chain stitch, which is the very first of the series. I'll pop a link in up here. This video, we're going to focus on the single crochet stitch or the double crochet. What's happened is over the years, we've created two crochet languages. So there's the crochet language that's predominantly used in the USA, and then there's the crochet language that's predominantly used in England, Australia, and that's where I learnt, was in Australia. You do learn how to switch between the two. It's not quite like learning a second language, as a lot of the terms are the same but actually mean different things. So it's just important to keep this in mind. I'm going to put a link to a chart in the description box down below that you can go and download, and it will actually specify out which stitches mean what in different languages. If you know where your pattern has come from, whether it's a US-based designer or an Australian publication or something like that, it's pretty easy to work out what language that they've decided to use. Now, in the beginning of a lot of books, they pop in a little legend or chart explaining the stitches that they've used in this book. If you see an SC or a single crochet, only the American crochet language uses that particular term. So if you spot that in the beginning glossary of a book, or if you spot it throughout your pattern, you know you need to think of this in the US crochet terminology. If there is no SC and it goes from chain to DC or double crochet, then you've got a pattern that's been published in Australia or the UK. Let's get started on the single crochet or double crochet, depending on where you're from. In this video, we're going to be using our ChiaoGoo 4mm hook. It's a bamboo handle with a metal head. I find them really nice to hold. They've got a nice little, see how it's tapered? It just seems to sit nicely in my hand, but there's lots of different hooks for different people. Now we're going to be doing single crochet or double crochet in the English Australian terminology, and I've got my ball of yellow semi-solid. I've already done sort of 11 chains, so we're going to be doing a 10 stitch swatch. Don't try and say that fast. 10 stitch swatch. 10 stitch swatch. A 10 stitch swatch. And so you have your 10 stitches plus a turning chain, because what we do here, we don't actually work into this first stitch. We work into this second stitch. Now, depending on your pattern, sometimes you need to work through both loops. I personally prefer working through both loops. So what you need to do is make sure you've got your little V. See how there's the two little legs over the top there? I'll get that out of the way. The two little legs, just one there and one there. And then we yarn over, draw through, and yarn over and draw through two. So we've done a single crochet or a double crochet depending. So I'm probably going to keep calling it a single crochet. So we go in, two loops are on the top, plus my yarn over, so draw my yarn over through, yarn over, draw through two. Now we do this all the way across. Two loops, yarn over, draw through, yarn it over, and draw through two loops. Now I'm just going to move along and get all 10 done. Now the hardest row to work into is your chain row. If you've done your chains quite tight, then it does make life just that little bit more difficult for you. Sometimes it's actually not a bad idea, especially when you're beginning, is just to go up a hook size for your chains if you're going to be working into them, just so that you've got that little bit of extra room when you go to work into them. Okay, so we're going to insert in, make sure we've got two loops, so 1 and 2, yarn over, draw that loop through, yarn over, see how I'm turning the head down, and draw the loop through again. We just make sure we go into that last one on the slip knot there. Oops, I just pulled the slip knot tighter, which was probably not the wisest thing to do. So into that last stitch. That's always the trick, is to make sure you get that last stitch and the first stitch. There we go. It's just a little bit stiffer, so draw through two. Now we just need to make sure we have our 10 stitches. Got our little V's here, so we've got one V, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So we've got our 10 stitches. Alright, so what we're going to do is you need to step up for your next row. So you need to chain 1, then turn your work over. Now this will get a bit easier. You can actually see right where we need to work. So we go into that, can you see that little hole there? You work straight through that and you end up with your V on the top, just like before. Yarn over, draw through, and yarn over and draw through. And we go insert into the little hole, yarn over, draw it through, yarn over, and draw through 2 loops. So if you can't see little holes, sometimes it's a good idea just to pull it a little bit. You can just sort of see it there. Insert into the hole, draw it through, yarn over, draw through 2. And we do this all the way across. It's always a really good idea to double check how many stitches you've got at the end of each row. I still double check just because sometimes you may miss a stitch, you may not notice where it is. We just keep going until we get to the end. Here we go. And you've got to make sure, see how there's one more V? It's a little bit loose, but you've just got to make sure you do get that last V. And draw it through, yarn over, draw through 2. If you pull your loop up like that, you can drop your hook down. You can see what we've got here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So we've got our 10. Is there a crochet stitch that you'd like for me to show in this series, or maybe in another series of more advanced stitches? Pop it in the comments below and let me know. Thank you for liking, commenting and subscribing. It's time for you to fill your universe with fibre fun. Off you go. I'll see you next time. Bye.